Hello everyone, my name is Reed and welcome to Storytime. Today we are going to be reading some I Don't Work Here Lady stories, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Entitled Woman Thinks I Work There, ticked when I help her anyway. So I don't know why, but for some reason it seems like every dang where I go, I get asked if I work there. For reference, I'm a dress comfy type of person and I live in southern Florida, so on normal days when I'm just out doing whatever and not working, you can usually find me in a capri workout/yoga pants and a t-shirt of some sort and flip-flops. Maybe it's because I keep my phone on a clip on my side since those kind of pants usually don't have pockets. Heck, I don't know. Most of the time when people ask and I smile and politely say, "I'm sorry, no," and they apologize sheepishly and walk away. Except this lady. Cast, entitled woman, EW, entitled woman's husband, EWH, and me. So, I was out shopping at a thrift store because I like to go find things to buy and fix up or use to make other things as a side gig for extra money. I'm minding my own business, looking through clothing that I could use as fabric for a project when this lady walks up to me. I should mention that this particular thrift store has another thrift store literally next door. There's just a fence that separates the two parking lots and buildings. Entitled woman, "Excuse me, you." I turn to look at her, questioningly, I'm sure. She's probably in her 60s or 70s, well-dressed, typical South Florida snowbird from the looks of it. Her husband is half following her, half looking at stuff along the way as she's coming towards me. "Do you work here?" Before I can even answer, "Do you know if today is the all clothes are $1 day? That lady over there," gesturing to nobody in particular, "said it was." "Actually, I don't work here, but this store doesn't do that. That's the store next door. I think they do have that going on today because it's blah 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 day of the week, but I haven't been over there yet." She doesn't even acknowledge that I've spoken to her. No thank yous, no sorry for bothering you, nothing, and walks away. I let it go, no big deal. I just answered her question, whatever. Well, that should have been the end of it, and aside from being a bit irritating that she couldn't be bothered to acknowledge that I'd spoken to her or anything else, again, no big deal. About 15 minutes later, her husband walks over to where she's at about 3 racks away from me, still looking through clothes. Entitled woman's husband. "What the heck, EW? What in the Sam heck are you doing with all those clothes?" I see she has a cart literally overflowing with clothing items. "What? They're only $1. The girl that works here just told me that." "Like heck she did, you must be deaf. That girl told you the dollar clothes were next door. I was standing right there when she said it. They don't do that here." "Well, she's the one that said they were. I don't want all this stuff for regular price." She pushes her cart pretty hard at me. "Since you told me they were $1 and they're not, you can put them all back." I didn't, and I still don't work here. I told you that as well when you clearly weren't listening." She turned on her heel and stomped out. Her husband just kind of looked at me like WTF before I saw his expression turn to anger, and he quickly went after her. She didn't come back in, but I did see them outside in the parking lot when he went out after her, and it looked like she was getting a pretty good earful from him. I felt bad and asked the lady that did work there if she wanted help putting stuff up. Her response, "Nah, you don't work here." We laughed a bit as she rang me up and I went on my way. But seriously, where are these people raised to think that behavior like that is acceptable? I really want to know. Yeah, this situation could have been a lot worse if you had 2 unreasonable morons, but luckily you had one good one. Stop vaping in front of my kids. To make this simple, I use an inhaler. I use it when I work out and when I'm sick because with asthma, those are the times it's really hard to breathe. I always keep one with me and have an extra one in my locker when I go to the gym. The gym I go to is owned by a college, and the college kids get to use it free, but townsfolk have to pay $80, family price, for it. Cast, we got Susan, the entitled lady, RE, the real employee, BT, bratty teenager, and me as me. I was at the gym after I got all done with my workout. I was sweaty and had on black shorts with my high school logo on my golden t-shirt. The people who work there wear orange t-shirts with the same name of the college on it and black slacks. So obviously I didn't work there, but I wouldn't be here if someone didn't think I did. I was walking to the locker room and this lady walked out. Enter in Susan and BT. I took my inhaler out of my pocket and used it, then started to get a drink of water at the water fountain. I hear a gasp and I get shoved. I inhale sharply out of instinct and start to choke on water. I cough. A lot. Susan, why are you vaping in front of my little girl? You shouldn't be vaping at work. I finally stop coughing long enough to grab my inhaler again, but as I try to get some medicine, she snatches it out of my hand. You're so stupid. You act like you can't live without your stupid vape. Newsflash, I can't. I grab the inhaler out of her fat little hand and get the medication inside of me so I can fully breathe again. Jesus, what is wrong with your generation? Always using your jewels and vapes. Have you seen an inhaler? I have asthma, lady. Bratty teenager. No, you don't. My friend has asthma and she doesn't have one of those vapes. It's an inhaler. It's not a vape. This is medicine. Then why does smoke come out? Because of pressure in the inhaler. Listen, kid, I'll let you get away with your vaping even though you've just scarred my precious baby. Her daughter wasn't much younger than me, but you have got to go get us towels. Go ask the lady at the front desk. I can't go back there. I don't work here. Yes, you do. You're wearing a school shirt. Of the high school. The only one in town. This is a high school name shirt, and the employees have college name shirts. Lying about vaping and about working here? I will get you fired. By this point, she was screaming at me. Real employee heard the noise and came out of the corner. He got the lady to follow him as she was yelling about me. He explained everything and got her the towels. She didn't even accuse me of vaping when I saw her leaving with a pale face. You could probably call the cops on this lady. I mean, you were gasping for air and really needed your medicine to kind of regain and stabilize, and she snatched it from you, man. That is so screwed up. Military Karen. I work on an IT help desk that's phone number is one off from a military benefits help desk number. We tend to get the other help desk calls several times a week, which makes it often enough to include in the initial training for new employees. Normally, the person on the other end has misdialed. We provide the right phone number and go our separate ways amicably. On one particular occasion, Sergeant Karen called and would not believe me that she had dialed the wrong number. While I appreciate that she was trying to get her family the benefits her military service more than deserved, I could not help her to get them. SK, Sergeant Karen, me as me, AS, awesome supervisor. All right, let's start. Phone rings. Thank you for calling my help desk. This is me. How may I help you? This is Sergeant Karen. I need to get string of benefits, insurance, etc. for myself and my family. I'm sorry, you have called the incorrect help desk for that. Let me get you the phone number for the other help No, this is the number for other help desk, and you will help me now. I have children and they need to be covered on my insurance. I'm sorry, ma'am, but this is not the other help desk. This help desk is for reporting IT issues from employees of my organization. Our number is one off from that one. It is possible you misdialed. It happens all the time. I did not misdial. I know I called the right number. This is the number I have, and you will help me now. Ma'am, I am telling you that this is not other help desk. If I could help you, I would, but I do not work there and have no way of accessing their systems. Let me speak to your supervisor. Yes, ma'am. Transfers call to Awesome Supervisor, who sits in the next cubicle over. Awesome Supervisor. This is my help desk. This is AS. How may I help you? No, ma'am, this is not other help desk. Well, be that way then. SK had hung up abruptly when my supervisor confirmed that this was indeed not the number for the other help desk. Sometimes you just need a second person to really confirm that you're stupid and you don't listen and you're an idiot. Yeah, you know. But my baking supplies. Been lurking here for a while, but since this isn't a super interesting Karen got banned story, I've held off on posting it. But my housemate just reminded me of it, so now it's going here. I work in a supermarket, the uniform of which is green and black and consists of a polo shirt and smart trousers, with a company name on the back for the shoulders of the polo shirt. My housemate works in a craft store, the uniform of which is light blue, button-down shirt, dark red apron, and any trousers/skirt/whatever. Our stores are in adjoining retail parks, and every once in a while I'll pop over with coffee for him on my way home and usually stick around and have a natter. A few months back I went to deliver coffee and he was on his break, so was out of the back of the store but came to meet me and we had a quick chat about our days, who was going to make dinner, whatever. While we were chatting, a wild Karen appeared to one side of me. My housemate and I paused our conversation and looked up at her. Since housemate was still on the clock, instead, however, she looked directly at me and asked where the baking supplies were. I looked at my housemate, looked back at Karen, but before I had a chance to reply, my housemate stepped in and pointed her in the general direction of baking supplies. Since I had been on the verge of leaving the craft store anyway, I quickly interrupted their conversation, said my goodbyes to my housemate, and headed for the door, nowhere near the baking supplies. Made it halfway there before realizing she was following me. I turned to look at her, completely confused, only to have her say, "I'm looking for piping tips, if that helps." It takes a second for me to get over the confusion and realize that she's expecting me to walk her to the baking supplies. Despite the fact, as previously mentioned, my uniform and the uniform of the craft store are worlds apart. And beyond being a retail employee, she had no reason to assume I worked there other than that I was talking to my housemate who was in the correct uniform. But heck, I hadn't even answered her question. Her entire conversation had been with him. I think my reply was about as eloquent as, over there? With a gesture in the same direction my housemate had tried to direct Karen in the first place. She huffed, as though annoyed I'd have the nerve to take her to the wrong part of the store, and finally moved away, and I headed home. No yelling or Karen banning, just a lot of confusion on my part. It's been months and we still laugh about it and wonder how long it'll take before she comes into my store at the same time as my housemate and ask him to show her where the bread is. I think it would have been rather funny if OP would have just turned around and started screaming like, "Why are you following me?" and then just started running. That would have been epic. Where is the capital of this state? Obligatory, not my story, but my uncle's. Obligatory on mobile. My uncle was walking around the blue home improvement store. He was not wearing any garments to indicate he worked there, but jeans, a jacket vest, and an OSU hat. A man approached him while he was wandering the aisle. Strange man. "Do you know where the fiberglass hard hats are?" Uncle. "Oh, I don't work here." "Well, are they somewhere else in the store?" "I don't work here." "Do you know if another store sells them?" "I don't know. I don't work here." "Do you work in construction?" My uncle does work in construction, so he figured this would be over quicker if he helped. "There are several stores in Columbus that sell specifically construction safety gear. Maybe try one of those?" "Where's Columbus?" I think it's important to mention Columbus is the capital city of this state. It's also the largest city and we are not that far away from it. It's an hour and 15 minutes south of here. Strange man then proceeded to get extremely upset. "Well, I'm not driving that far, that's ridiculous. I'm just getting this one." He takes the plastic hard hat that he was already holding and just walks away. I could see the confusion in my uncle's eye even as he was telling the story. I mean, clearly the strange man knew where the hard hats was if he had one in his hand. Come on, strange man. Don't be so strange. Alright, that's all the stories we have for today. If you liked what you heard, make sure to subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for listening and have an amazing day. Goodbye.